Hey everybody, what's going on? So I was messing around on YouTube, kind of off and on, just seeing what's going on out there, watching videos, and came across one of Triple H. Of course, a lot of us know that Triple H has been out of the ring side of wrestling, actual performing side of wrestling for a little while now due to a heart condition. I think his heart fraction injection was down to 12%. He was going into heart failure. I think it's supposed to be around 55, 60. And doctors basically said, hey, man, you're in heart failure. We've got to get you going. Had a 15-hour surgery to clear a blockage in the widowmaker artery of the heart, which is that's the one that gets you, man. 99% blockage. And so he was on his deathbed, basically pretty close to death. And made it through, obviously. And he talks to Ariel Helwani about... if he was scared of dying. I thought this was pretty intense. I'm going to play this for you.
Could I ask, and I almost hate asking you this question, at any point were you afraid of dying?
The whole time. Yeah.
How did you deal with that? Like, that's a different level of anxiety. That's a different level of pressure.
Yeah, but it's funny. I get emotional thinking about it.
Yeah, and obviously, he talked a little earlier about not missing the in-ring part of it, and glad, he's got time to spend with his daughters now, and that's the most important thing, and that's pretty awesome. But, I think you can see a little bit of that in his eyes here. You can hear a little bit of that in his voice, that he does miss that part of it, and he wouldn't be human if he didn't, but I think he's come to accept what really is valuable right now in his life. Obviously, he's got some money in the bank. He's still got a great gig going on with WWE. And, of course, he's married to the boss's daughter. So, that only helps. But this is pretty intense. You can tell these are deep-rooted feelings that he has here.
In some way, it's a gift to look at your life through those eyes. If they tell you you're going to die on Tuesday, no one is going to go, well, shit, I have a board meeting on Friday. Right? It's irrelevant. I love what I do. I love the passion that it brings out of me. I love all of it. I love creating this.
And for those of you that don't know, he does have a defibrillator in his chest. So that would, negate any kind of contact he could possibly do in a wrestling ring. You talked about that earlier in the video.
I love being a part of creating the magic of what we do in WWE for people all around the world, for kids, for everybody that enjoys it. It's my passion in life, but it doesn't compare to my passion for my kids or my wife or any of that. So when you break it down in that manner.
And that's one of the things, too. As we all get older, and I think he's 55 now, so we get a little older and we start to realize what really is important. Now, of course, most of us have to work, obviously, to support our kids. And, so work is definitely important. But in the end, you work to provide for the people you care about. If it's just you work to provide for yourself and make your life better as well. So really, he kind of is touching on that. It sounds cliche. We hear it a lot in movies, all these kinds of things. But to see somebody in real life, who deeply is affected by this and involved in that's pretty cool to see.
And that can all go away. You think of life differently. You and I have talked about that, right? Your daughter's birthday, you think to yourself, like, well, I don't want to miss that. It's easy to talk yourself into missing it. It's just this 1 year. I've really got to do this. This is really important, really big business. I got to do this. Just let this one thing go. You can't. They go by fast, it goes by quick, and then it's gone. You sort of, it's a gift to be able to look at that differently, through a different lens, through different eyes, to say, no, these are the things that are important to me. I'm going to put that first at all times. Even though I always felt like I did it that way, you can look at times when you didn't.
To touch on something earlier in the video, it's not in this part, but Triple H he's a big guy, man. He was a super muscular individual. I don't think he got enough credit for that. I think that a lot of people just saw his bad guy persona without giving him credit for what kind of shape he was in. He was in some pretty good shape, pretty muscular dude, and I think he was just as big or bigger than a lot of these guys who were known for having muscular bodies mainly as their in-ring persona. And it kind of makes you wonder, although his heart condition was mainly genetic, if what it took to look that way. And I won't touch on that, but a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Definitely probably had some negative effects, HDL, LDL ratios, etc. And that's unfortunate, and he probably has some regrets about that deep down, but I've never heard him talk about it.
And to have that perspective in some manner is a gift of making you appreciate things that you just took for granted, you know?